Hi everyone, your audience must read your work. If you're making a poster, it's communicating something, and it only works if it's understood, which means people must be able to read it. You might be able to read it very clearly, but lots of us have impairments. I wear glasses, and it goes on from there. So I'm going to show you a quick technique to use contrast checking in your work. So here we have a poster I'm designing to recruit people for a study. And I've got this sort of style going on about read this and then text that is against a background because I just like that way. But is the contrast okay? Contrast is super important because when you start having any kind of eyesight issues, if the contrast is too low, so the difference between the dark and the light, you might not be able to read it clearly and it might cause problems. So is this color choice okay? I've got open over here the Web AIM contrast checker, and I've already gone through and put in the foreground color, which is the text, and the background color, which is that little background. You can see at the bottom examples of the color, which is what we're doing in our design. And you can see that if we say normal, large, and objects, generally this is pretty good. It passes WCAG AA, but it fails AAA. Now, really want to pass AAA standards for WCAG because that's going to capture the broadest amount of people within a reasonable audience. So I can see that I'm not actually working very well. The contrast isn't quite right to capture the broad range of people that I want to be accessible to. So all I can do over here, I can take my slider, and if I go darker, I can see I start to fail and fail and fail. And eventually, no one can read it. So darker isn't the right way. I take my slider, drag it to the right, and you see I start to pass, and wait for it. There we are. So I'm looking for, there we are. That is the darkest background I can get past all levels of WCAG. I think this is 2.1 version, but it gets me up to AAA, so 7.12 to 1. So I was going to take my hex code, copy it from there, into my background, drop it into there, and there we are. Do I like this as much? Is it as visually exciting? Maybe not. But at the same time, it's fine. And I'd rather put a poster out there, which I'm not as excited about, but I know that the broadest range of people can read this clearly without issues, which means that we're going to get more participants maybe. So it could be somebody out there who couldn't read my poster properly, would have been a great participant, but they're not going to do anything, so because they couldn't read it. So now I've got that, I'm going to be really happy and going forward. And I want you to use this in your work. I want you to check the contrast ratios in your text, get your background, make sure it's readable and be accessible to all.